Here's the power of appreciation for anybody that doesn't know. First, what in the world is appreciation? If you're a country boy like me from South Carolina, appreciation is your property value goes up, or you paid $100,000 for the house. Let's say in a couple of years it's worth $120,000. So that $20,000 difference is appreciation, right? Real estate has created the most millionaires. Most people think that they need a lot of money, good credit, a ton of knowledge in order to make $1 million in real estate. So by the grace of God, we've made a ton of money in real estate. I'll be honest with you, mostly through appreciation. Yes, we have cash flow, but appreciation is really slept on. Getting rich is easy to do, but hard to believe. Reason that I'm so convinced on this is that I'm going to tell you everything you need to know to get rich in several different industries in this podcast episode alone. And we'll see how many people report back with receipts that they're millionaires. Now, I hope that I'm wrong. As somebody that's been broke and homeless before, I can tell you that becoming a millionaire, becoming financially free, becoming financially abundant, getting to a point in your life where you're not worried about where your next check gonna come from, because you understand your only limitation is your imagination. You understand that winter is always coming, but summer is always coming as well, because summer has to proceed or come after a winter, and vice versa is true as well. I want you to know this. Getting rich is easy to do, but hard to believe. Reason that I'm so convinced on this is that I'm going to tell you everything you need to know to get rich in several different industries in this podcast episode alone. And we'll see how many people report back with receipts that they're millionaires. Now, I hope that I'm wrong. I'm not usually the pessimistic guy, but I've been in entrepreneurship since 2014. I've been training people on entrepreneurship since 2017. And man, I've seen a lot of great people that should have made a ton of money. They tap out for one reason or another. And it wasn't because they wasn't doing the right thing. It was more of their belief system that they had tied to what they were doing. Their belief system got to a point where they might have felt, you know what, I don't want to pay any more dues. I don't want to do this again. I don't want to try this or try that. But there's a standard to success, and you either meet the standard or you don't. Simple as that. All right. I do want to remind you guys that we do also offer in-person events, as I try to brush my much needed lineup a little bit better. All right. So if you guys hear that noise, that's why. Man, let's kick it off with real estate. Real estate has created the most millionaires. Most people think that they need a lot of money, good credit, a ton of knowledge in order to make $1 million in real estate. So by the grace of God, we've made a ton of money in real estate. I'll be honest with you, mostly through appreciation. Yes, we have cash flow, but appreciation is really slept on. Here's the power of appreciation for anybody that doesn't know. First, what in the world is appreciation? If you're a country boy like me from South Carolina, appreciation is your property value goes up, or you paid $100,000 for the house. Let's say in a couple of years it's worth $120,000. So that $20,000 difference is appreciation, right? Now, kinds of appreciation. Property taxes are going to go up as well. And depending on where you are, maintenance costs will go up as well, depending on who you choose to do maintenance with. And just really some areas you don't even have a choice. It just is what it is. As property values go up, these repair men and women, they understand that, you know, it's more valuable. So they going to increase their value as well. All right. So it is what it is. Hold on one second, you guys. The audio just changed. So I realized that it might sound a little bit different now because the software that I was using, but you guys still heard me just fine. That onboard mic on this thing is great, but hey, when I spend as much money as I spent for this audio equipment, we gonna use that as well too. Real estate. If you are just starting out and you don't have a lot of money, but you still want to get into real estate because you understand that it has created the most millionaires, you need to be investing in tax sale properties. Tax sale properties are people don't pay their property taxes, and then after a period of time, they go to a public auction. There are tax deed states and there are tax lien states. Quick Google search of whatever state you're in or whatever state you would like to invest in will tell you that you do not have to only invest in tax sale properties in the state that you live in or in the state that you're from. You can buy tax properties anywhere your heart desires within the United States, at least. This is a US based play because that's the extent of my knowledge running this play, right? So let's say for easy math, well, I'll just use my last tax bill was around $7,000. Of course, I'm in the Carolinas, your tax bill might be way more or way less. But $7,000 was my tax bill, right? Let's say I didn't have it. Let's say they try to work with me on a payment plan. I don't make the payments. They give me another year to try to figure it out, catch up. I don't do it. They say, hey, JT, we not playing with you no more, man. We need our taxes. We're going to auction off your property so that way we can secure the money that we need. All right. So that being said, let's say that my property goes to auction for around $16,000 to $20,000. For easy math, let's say it's 20 grand. $20,000, I couldn't make the $7,000 payment. They put fees on it and interest, and then it doubled up and blah, 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 right? So you guys know how they play the game, especially when they want you out of there. $20,000, if they done giving me chances, it's now pay or lay, and lay outside, right? You come to the auction, you say, hey man, look, this is a 3-story home with an art gallery. I'm not about to let this thing go for no 20 grand. I'll go, bid it up to 20 grand, like before I let the state have it. But let's say that I have some friends in high places and I call in some favors and I say, hey man, I looked out for you back in the day when I was this, and this. I need you to help me out. Time to return the favor. And they bid against you. And let's say that you end up winning the property, but you win the property at around $35,000, not $20,000, because they ran you up. Well, congratulations. Now you have rights to the property, but there's usually a redemption period. Depending on where you are, it can vary. It can be a year, it can be 2 years. That means during that period of time, you don't go to the property, you don't make any modifications to the property, you don't do anything with that property during the redemption period. Now, what's the advantages for you, for somebody that's out of $35,000 for a year or two or longer, depending on what state you're in and you ran this play? Well, your money is backed by the county, and your money is going to accrue interest that's greater than if you left that $35,000 in the bank account. Now, how they do it where I'm located isn't going to be the same way how they do it everywhere. So don't get hung up on our percentages. You can look it up on your county's website to see your exact numbers. But for here, if it is redeemed meaning that I somehow or another figure out how to get the money to buy back my property and keep it myself, if it is redeemed within the first quarter, which is 3 months, right? So if I redeem it within the first quarter after the auction, you get your money back plus 3% of whatever amount of money that you paid. If I redeem it during the second quarter or during month 4 through 6, right, you get 6% interest on your money. If I redeem it in month 7 through 9, you get 9% interest. And if I redeem it in month 10 through 12, you will get 12% interest on your money. So every quarter, it'll go up 3%. So you get 3, 6, 9, or 12% interest on your money. I don't know who you bank with. It's none of my business. But does your bank give you 3% interest the first 3 months, and then go up to 6% interest for the next 3 months, and then goes up to 9% interest for the next 3 months, and then caps out at 12% interest for the final 12 months that you leave that money there? I would dare say it doesn't, or else there will be a whole lot more rich people, right? So if you are somebody that has a bank account that does you like that, stay with them as long as they're doing right by you, right? Most people not getting it like that. So that's the advantages you have, so you're not just out of your money for this extended period of time, all right? Let's say it's not redeemed. It's not redeemed, right? Depending on if you're in a tax deed or a tax lien state, you're going to get notified, at least in my state. Again, all of their policies will be on their county website, or you can just go up there and talk to somebody if they don't have that public for whatever reason, or pick up the phone, right, if you're busy like me. But I digress. You get rights to the property, but a tax deed ain't the same as a warranty deed. Tax deed means you pay the taxes on it. There can still be mechanical liens and other people that have interest on that property as well. You want to go see a real estate attorney and see if they can help you quiet the title or whatever they can do to help you get a warranty deed legally, ethically, morally for that property. Once you got that warranty deed, then you can resell it or go borrow money from the bank against it to fix it up yourself and then turn it into an asset, primary residence, or whatever you want that property to be for you. Now, I'm using numbers like 20K and 35K, and those may sound like big numbers, but understand this: tax sale properties are the cheapest, in my opinion, ways to get into real estate. and you can get paid just for trying. Now, $20,000 is a lot of money if we're talking about gum. This property that I'm talking about is worth $389,000 as April the 1st, 2025, right? When I bought it, it was worth $265,000. So it went from $265,000 to now it's worth $389,000, right? I had it for 4 years though, I'll be honest with you, right? Yep, I'm not quite at 4 years, but I'm over 3. So I'm on my way to my 4th year of ownership of this property. So it didn't happen overnight, right? It didn't happen overnight. It took a few years, but I ain't mad at it. I just lived in the house, right? Now I do have other properties that have increased in value as well, but we rented them out, we leased them, we Airbnb'd them, we did VIP days, we did events at them, just depending on what they were in our portfolio. But appreciation alone, jumped us up a good bit, like $120 some odd $1,000 just by enjoying the doggone house. So you can't beat that. All right. So $20,000, $35,000 is a lot of money, but if you're telling somebody you're buying a $389,000 house for $20,000 to $35,000, right? Hey, some people will be willing to put their heads together and a couple of dollars together to make that happen, because there's so much meat on that bone that once y'all get the property, well, either y'all gonna get y'all money back with interest and just bust down the interest evenly, or when y'all get that property, y'all split the cost of working with that real estate attorney. In my area is $1,500. In your area, it might be more or less. And of course, as the years go on and as attorneys retire and new attorneys come into office, it might drastically go up, right? Depending on my situation, right? But I like to give you guys my real numbers, but also got to put out those disclaimers, because somebody will say, I live here, I live there. It'll be way more money here or there. Okay, cool, right? So just the same rules apply. You'll just adjust it for your area, right? This same house that's $389,000 here probably be $500,000, $1 million or more if it was in an area where everything else was more expensive. So it will still work out. The psychology of it will still play out the same. All right. So most cost-effective way you're going to get into real estate. Now, let's talk about some numbers that you guys, if you don't have much money and don't want to partner with people, might find more attractive. So I was able to secure 22 acres for around $1,200. That did get redeemed. I was able to get my uncle who taught me this business. I gotta, give credit where credit is due. I kind of took it to the next level, but he sowed the seed and got me in there. He might buy mobile homes for like $200, $400. And turn up, go to the next level straight off of that. All right. So if you could buy properties for few hundred, few $1,000s, right? Now, as more and more people get into tax sales, auctions, right? I believe that properties will still be the most cost effective in comparison to dealing with wholesalers, in comparison with dealing with realtors, right? With the exception of if you don't mind being a wholesaler yourself, where you're the man or woman that's calling people, getting cussed out, getting hung up on. And for a lot of people, that's just not the quality of life they're looking for. If you tough enough to do that, amen to you, do your thing. But I'm going to spend most of the time speaking to people that aren't necessarily looking to live that lifestyle, if that's all right, right? So if that's you, all right, tax sale properties are going to be the most cost effective way to get your foot in the door. Now, let's say that you get outbid, you're in an area, or you want to invest in an area, even if it's other than where you live, where, man, big dogs are out, sharks are in the water. They're not letting nothing fly for a few hundred or a few $1,000s. There is something called overages. You might also hear it referred to as surplus funds. And this is, let's go back to the original example. Let's say I legit owe 20 grand. I couldn't pay it for whatever reason. And you win the bid at 35,000. The difference between 35 and 20 is 15,000. Well, who's entitled to that money? The county's not entitled to that money, because the county is entitled to the money that they were owed for taxes, which is why they auctioned it off. The person that spent the money got the highest bid, and they agreed to give up 35 grand just because they wanted the property that bad. That $15,000 difference, as of this recording, of course, state and federal laws can change, but it's been like this for many, many years, right? That difference between what was owed and what is paid is on to the original owner. Now, if you're in somewhere like California or something like that, you have 1 year to claim your funds. Otherwise, the county can keep it and say that they're going to use it to buy more fire trucks, police cars, fix the crack in the sidewalk that they never really fixed, and just spend it on whatever the county, the government needs. In other areas, they have no limit on how long you have to come claim those funds. But if you never claim them, they can keep them indefinitely. Now, the reason why a lot of people don't know about this is, one, it's in the county's best interest because they get to keep the money. And if I owed you $15,000, but the rule said unless you ask me for it, I don't have to give it to you, right? So if somebody gave me $35,000, out of that $35,000, I'm supposed to give you $15,000. Now, wait, I'm mad at you. You know, let's use an analogy like humans. You owe me $20 because we're not gonna get to the point where you owe me $35,000 or $20,000, right? So you owe me $20. You can't pay. Somebody else says, hey, look, since they can't pay you for the thing, take the thing back and I'll buy it from you for $35, but 15 of these dollars got to go back to the person. Well, look, that person didn't pay me the $20 they owed me for this amount of time. I don't want to give them $15. Well, that's what the law is. Okay. Well, let me check out that law. That law says that I got to notify them. Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to send them a letter in the mail to the last known address. What's the last known address? Last known address is the property that we sold to this gentleman, right? The person that gave me $35. The person that gave me $35 doesn't know you, right? They may not even know that the law says I got to notify you. If you received a letter in the mail with the name on it that you didn't recognize, but it was your address, there's several things that you may do with it. None of them would make that person money. So some people would just give it back to the postmaster, give it back to the mailman or mailwoman. Next time that they see them, hey, this person doesn't live here, give it back, right? Some people might open up the letter and say, hey, well, don't nobody live here by that name, but it's addressed here. I'm going to open up the letter, right? Even if you open up the letter, which you should not do, but even if you open up the letter and you see somebody you don't know is entitled to good money, right? What's the average person going to do? They're not going to play private detective and try to hunt down a stranger and say, hey, stranger, you know, this letter came to my house saying that you are owed all of this money, right? They're gonna set it aside. Eventually it's gonna end up in file 13. It's gonna end up trashed, right? So they know this. The county, that is they in this analogy, right? So you don't know that you're owed these funds. There are men and women that have created successful 6- and 7-figure businesses just off of this information that I told you guys already. So I want you to take this opportunity as I adjust this camera for you to go ahead and give us a 5-star, 10-star, 100-star review. Subscribe to us on whatever platform you're watching. Just for that game, at least, right? Show your boy some love. I can use it, right? I could definitely use it. All right. So that's how you get paid just for trying. For anybody that missed it, you can just make a record. My aunt kills it at this. So the parcel IDs, which is a list of all of the properties that are going up for auction, are usually in the newspaper or on the county website. Hopefully in the future they have a more modern way to get out this information, but right now in most areas it's going to be somewhere on the county website or in the paper. Maybe eventually they'll get a social media page. Hopefully where you're located, they already have a social media page, a billboard, some way that they can better inform the people, right? But again, you know, now that you guys know about surpluses, also called overages, they may intentionally not want to make this thing too known because it might not be as lucrative for them in the future if everybody tunes in and knows these plays that I'm giving you guys, right? So you could just make a list, right? So you download your sheet of paper. You got outbid on all of the parcel IDs that you wanted to vote on, right? So the county deals in parcel IDs. You'll go to your county GIS website. It's free. Just type in the name of your county and then the letter G as in golf, I as in indigo, S as in Sierra website. And then your GIS website or the equivalent will pop up. Or if you use ChatGPT, Claude, or you use the AI tool that's on my website, jonathanmccrae.com, right? You could just type in what address is associated with parcel ID, and then give them the number, right? Give them the parcel ID number that the county gave you, and it'll give you an address. You can plug that address into ZillowHomes.com or just Google and look at the area from the aerial maps view from the Zillow pictures. If you want to drive by, which may not be time effective, but it'll give you all of that good information, and to each their own on that. So now you got your printout of all of the parcel IDs. You got outbid on all of the ones that you wanted, but you wrote beside every parcel ID the sale price that it went for, because on it is going to be the parcel ID and it's going to be the starting bid, and it's probably going to be some information about whose name the property is in. So who's the current owner? It could be an estate, it could be a business, it could be an individual. So you're going to write off to the side or on another sheet of paper, if you write big and or sloppy or whatever you need to do, right? You're going to notate what each property went for, right? And then what you can do is you could reach out to those companies individually and offer to facilitate the surplus funds for them in exchange for a percentage of the surplus funds, or you could just sell them the paperwork and they can do it themselves. Paperwork is available for free at most counties' websites. If it's not available for free, you can contact the county directly and say, hey, look, I am aware of surplus or overages may be available. And of course, again, right, I'm going to be intentionally repetitive. You might be in a county where they don't want you to know this, and laws can change. And of course, if you are the law, if the law changes, you will want it to change in your favor. So I'm just telling you guys to play as it runs today, and hopefully at least one person takes immediate imperfect action and comes back and tells me how much money they made off of following simple directions. But you reach out, you get the information, you get the paperwork. You could just sell them the paperwork straight up and let them do it themselves, or you could do it for them and take a percentage of the deal, right? Now, I outlined this in depth in my book. The title of my book is How to Buy Real Estate with $1,000 or Less Without Debt, Without Wholesaling, or Get Paid Just for Trying. And if you want to know detailed my strategy to invest in properties, detailed breakdown of how to do everything in a step-by-step way. I don't want to make this entire podcast just about real estate, so I would recommend that you connect with me on jonathanmccray.com, or even better, if you want to shoot me a text, you could always text me at 833-221-9994. 833-221-9994, right? And holla at your cousin JT. Just let me know you interested in purchasing the real estate book about tax properties. The reason why I need you to say that is because I have over 38 books and I am still writing. So ain't no telling how many books I publish. So if you say, I just want to buy your book, I'm going to say which one more than likely, or some variation of that, right? And if I think you're trolling because I'm having a rough day, I might not even respond at all. So to make it easiest for both of us, I would recommend you just say, I'm interested in buying your tax book, and I'll send you the link right over for your convenience, right? Let's talk about social media next. To me, social media is the new wave. It is currently, according to the data, not taking over TV yet, but definitely killed radio, killed the paper been gone anyway, right? I consider social media to be all of the traditional social media platforms that you would acknowledge. I also consider podcasts a form of social media. I also consider websites a form of social media, right? Chat rooms on Reddit, on Quora, all of these things. I don't know if they consider them chat rooms or threads, whatever they call them, right? Discord communities, school groups, all of these online communities, I would also group, for the purposes of this discussion, in social media, right? So just so that we can close some of these loops, in real estate, I would start off with tax sale properties and surplus funds, and I would buy property to flip it, so that way I can buy more expensive property and flip that. Or if you want to buy it and hold it like me as part of your retirement or part of your long-term wealth strategy, that's how you get the seed money. And at this point, we can just hold our property and become real estate millionaires. We got 8 doors, and I haven't added it up recently, but we might be just over $1 million. If not, within another year or two, whether I buy another piece of property or not, I'll have well over $1 million in real estate just through appreciation, right? Normal appreciation, nothing crazy. And my portfolio right now is 7 single family homes, a commercial building which is being utilized as a daycare center that I own. I actually own the real estate and I own the daycare business itself as an absentee owner, right? Of course, I'm not in there changing diapers and making whatever you make in a daycare center for kids, right? And I also have some land that I want to develop in the future. I want to do a paintball / airsoft field. I'm a Marine Corps veteran. I just think that would be fun and cool. There's just a lot of red tape and logistics, and doing it the way that I want to do it. So we're working on that as well. So, yep, that's how I would do it in real estate. Moving on, social media, right? Social media. So, social media, I think, is poor folks' reparations. Now, notice I said poor folks, right? Not black folks, not Latinos, not men, right? Anybody that ain't where they want to be financially speaking, and they feel like, it's because of they or the powers that be or whatever entity you want to give credit to. You know what I mean? I have witnessed firsthand the power of social media. All right. And that being said, I want to strongly encourage you, right? To start getting on social media, and whatever it is that you know, you teach. Whatever it is that you don't know, you just document your journey. Let people know. Like, I'm transparent. I want to build a $100 million business. And today I got more clarity on how to do that. Right now we're probably at around 3 million. We got a clear plan to go from 3 to 6 to 7 million, right? But then I'm like, okay, once we get to 6 to 7, that's our primary focus. And then we got to figure out how to go to 10, right? And once we get to 10, we got to figure out how do we go to 100, right? And compound and scale up that way as well. So I don't have all of the answers. I want you to find solace. I want you to be okay with knowing that you don't got to have all of the answers. But with real estate, either teach everything that you know. It doesn't have to be business. Think about what you know now that you didn't know 10 years ago that has benefited you in any area of your life, legally, ethically, and morally. What do you know now that you didn't know 5 years ago? That's if you want to get in the education space. If you're an entertaining person, right? Entertain people with your humor, with your intellect, with your dramatic demonstrations, with your fashion, with your whatever your worldview is, all right, your commentaries. But share that gift that God instilled in you, right? In my humble opinion, I think that part of being made in the image of God means that we were created by a creator, but we too can create, all right? And I have created a great life for myself through content creation. And you can create a great life for yourself through content creation because you are made in the image of by far the greatest creator, point blank, period. So if you just take what little small amount of creation that went into you and leverage that to create for others, it will compound for you tremendously, right? I'm not the best anything, but we've done really, really well above average just by tapping into our God-given abilities and also consistently sowing seeds to become better and to do more to help other people. 100% of all of the money you ever won in life is already in print. It's already in circulation. It is in the bank accounts of individuals and businesses that don't know you exist, right? So all you got to do is get in their awareness and then let them know what value that you have that exceeds the amount of money that you charge, right? Think about the clothes that you're wearing now, how much they cost, right? If you wear glasses like me, if you drive a car, if you have a home, if you have furniture in that home, if you have food in that house, if you have utilities that work there, if you have any kind of amenities, right, at all, right? Everything that you have that you paid for, right? You valued that thing more than you valued the money, at least at that point in time, right? You might have a little buyer's remorse about, that crypto that you bought that they said that was going to go to the moon and it didn't. But a lot of the things, most of the things that people buy, there is no buyer's remorse. There was a sincere desire to have that thing more than they desired to keep whatever amount of money was tied to it. And people will do the same thing for your thing as well if you're willing to take the time to figure out what it is that they like, they want, and what they're willing to buy. That's why me and my team are currently developing a tool that is going to help people in a fast way. Of course, you could do research, right? Average listener here, you went to high school. Some of you all went to college. I think really a good bit of you all went to some secondary school beyond high school. Even if it wasn't college, you went to some sort of training, right? So you guys are familiar with doing research. You can research, stuff for yourself, but your greatest asset is time. As somebody that owns multiple businesses, wants to continue to grow and scale, we got to start prioritizing what's the best use of our time. I got the same 24 hours in a day as you. So if I want to leverage it to the greatest ability, I need some tools that allow me to figure out something in 15 seconds, not 15 minutes or 15 hours or 15 days. So we're heavily investing in tools that allow us to listen in, to you know what I mean, be a fly on the wall, if you will, to actually understand what our ideal customer wants to buy, right? And if you're interested in that, you guys know you can always text me 833-221-9994. And whenever it is done, we might allow some beta testers in there, or if it's already ready to go for sale, we might extend the opportunity out for you to buy it, keep it as well. It's a resource that you can forever use to make money, right? But social media. If you know something, teach what you know. If you don't know anything, document your journey. Everybody knows something, but some people just may not want to teach, so they'll say they don't know anything. So if you feel like you don't know nothing, or if you don't want to teach what you know, just document your journey. Be transparent. I'm trying to build $100 million company, and what I used to do was start different businesses. So I did a courier business, I did an e-commerce business, did a reselling business. I had a tea company, a shoe company. I had a pet store. I had all of these businesses. A lot of them failed. I finally landed on a media marketing agency, and it took me to the moon. And now we invest in real estate. We invest in stocks. We start acquiring smaller businesses and absorbing them inside of our ecosystem, so that way we can grow faster as well. And I still don't know how we're gonna get to 100 M's, but I'm gonna just take you guys along for the journey and just document the process, right? And even if you're not that far along, if you're saying, hey, look, I'm just not happy with where I am physically, I'm gonna document the journey of getting in the best shape of my life. I'm not happy with my relationships, I'm gonna document having a healthy relationship with myself, with my kids, with my partner, finding a partner, right? And just documenting that journey. Believe it or not, there are thousands, really millions of people that, suffer from the same nightmares as you, but they're so afraid, right, through analysis paralysis or just the fear of failure or both, to even be transparent about it and document that journey. So you being vulnerable for every negative comment that you get on social media, believe it or not, there are 400 people that are inspired, right? So just think about it like that. Now here's the funny thing about social media. The haters are there immediately, right? The people that don't like what you look like, what you sound like, anything about you, those jokers are like looking for you to post. The 400 people that are being inspired, right? They're so in their head right now, they can't even wrap their mind around somebody is dealing with this other than me, and they're willing to document them overcoming it. Like, it's gonna take them a while to even accept the fact that they're not the only person on earth that's dealt with a heartbreak, that's dealt with a sickness, that's dealt with a loss, that's dealt with, the level of pain, the level of stress, the level of uncertainty, the level of fear, level of loneliness that they're going through right now. So you got to be patient with them and understand that trolls are just engagement. They're going to help you get monetized faster and help you run up that bag anyway. So trolls they don't even know that they help you, right? So let them hate on, right? For every one hater, every one negative person, there's 400 people that's going to eventually come and be inspired and love you to death. So every time I see a negative comment, like, add them up times 400, bet, right? Hey, the love is coming. The love is coming if you stay the course. All right, now with social media, I'm currently in a beef because of I believe it's the algorithm. But of course, the powers that be, since I invest in mentors and etc., are saying it's not the algorithm. So I'll take full responsibility and say it's not the algorithm, it's me. But me feel like it's the algorithm, right? And to be honest with you, I think that there's some truth both ways. That sometimes the algorithm does have preferences, and oftentimes it's just based off of how well you make content. So I do think that we both can be right, and in this case, I think we both are right. If I was to be completely honest with you, I say all of that to say, let's not build your financial basis 100% just off of algorithmic love, because you might not always get that algorithmic love that you're looking for. All right. So that being said, uh have your own products. I learned something recently called the 15% rule. And what it says in a nutshell is that while make as much money as you can on your job, working for somebody else, or doing whatever it is that you do, but make 85% more of your money off of something that you own and control. So I don't care if you make $1 million, right? $1 million working a 9 to 5 job, make 85 times, 85% more, excuse me, make 85% more than a million, off of a business, a asset, a tool, an ecosystem, a community that you create, you own, because you'll never fire you. All right. And that has been a game changer for me. And I highly recommend you all to take that to heart as well, right? Take that to heart as well. So, you guys know we can stay all night long just talking on social media, but I want to be fair to social media, just like I was fair to real estate, and let you guys know if you want to connect with me more on learning how to create content, what content to create to get to this level, right? Hey, we definitely could turn it up. All right, we could definitely turn you up. All right. Boom, boom, boom. Let me see what's in my notes right here. Last thing that I have on this list, and I intentionally separated it, is building a business. Because yes, can you build a business off of social media? 100% you can. But I'm talking about that other 85%, right? So building a business, like over my right shoulder, you guys may notice a purple box. Well, that is my board game. I have a tabletop gaming company. So it's not a video game or an online game, but it's a physical board game. I also have physical card games as well. For you guys can check out. I'm leaning to the side if the audio switch, so that way you can see beside the box is smaller boxes of cards. And we definitely have businesses separate and apart from social media as well, like the daycare center business that I told you about, right? And I've been eating healthy, so if I sound a little funny and I don't know what's going on, you guys know I'm a country boy. Been eating healthy for a small amount of time. I've been eating soul food for my whole life, so my body going through some changes, right? But it's all good. I'm still consistently be here with no excuses. So just bear with me through these as well, right? As I document the process of becoming a better me. But building a business, right? Building a business. I'm gonna give you the best definition of sales I ever got in my life. Sales is identifying what people already want for their own reasons, and then developing and showing them a product, service, or information that will help them get what they already want, right? That's what I now firmly believe to be the only definition of sales. And it's so powerful because a lot of people, they'll develop businesses in a vacuum, meaning that you'll come up with an idea, you'll ask your close friends, your spouse, your whoever, right? Hey, what you think of this? And because they love you, they give you the I love you answer, which is, yeah, that's dope, that's great, that'll be awesome. But in all actuality, it ain't that good. So especially if they're not your ideal buyer. Your ideal buyer is already buying a variation of your solution right now. So your ideal buyer is already buying a variation of what you're going to create right now. or they're looking for that solution. In the rare case that is not existing in the marketplace, oftentimes it already is. You just got to find where is it at. So that being said, making a lot of money is easy to do, hard to believe. All right, I'm intentionally going with simple strategy. All right, some people heard this and they said, "Hey, I still ain't understood how to make $1,000,000." That's a straight up belief, right? Right. I broke down real estate. I broke down what to do on social media. Told you guys start a business. All you got to do is look at what people that you want to sell to are already buying. Social media, people will tell you literally what they doing, where they going, how they feeling every single day. So there's no reason why you can't figure out what people are already wanting in life based off what they're doing now. Of course, they're doing what they're willing to do or what they want to do, or else they wouldn't be doing it. Or they'll tell you, hey, I'm not happy here. I wish I could do this, do that. And then you develop a product, service, information, or community to serve that demographic of people, right? After you analyze them, right? Can they afford to buy $1,000 thing? Right? Or are they a group of people that, hey, they not buying $1,000 thing, but you know what? They'll buy $100 thing. All right. Well, okay. If you're not happy with selling $100 thing, guess what you do? You have to come to the conclusion to say, well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to target a different audience of people because I don't want to sell $100 things. I want to sell $1,000 things. Hope you guys got value out of this. All right. Hope you guys got value out of this. If you want to work with me, let me lay down the framework. If you're a blue collar business owner that is already making 6 figures and trying to go to 7 figures, you already qualify to work with me directly. 833-221-9994 is my text number. Don't call it, just text it. If you're somebody that's just starting out, or if you're not a blue collar business owner, and you want to get into entrepreneurship, I do have a team, right? I do have an entire ecosystem around me where we do get you results. Now, I just put all the cards on the table because I'm not one of those people that's trying to fast talk you to get your money or anything like that. So my team, the reason why I built it out is because I do know there are more people that don't make 6 figures in blue collar businesses than there are people that do. So I have built a rock star, all-star team, right, that helps people start business and scale them up. Just let me know where you are on the spectrum when you text me. 833-221-9994. The more detailed you are, the better response me or a member of my team can give you as well. But I do want you to understand this, is that I was broke and homeless at 2017. I made my first $1 million in 2019. I made $1 million by one, humbling myself to finally saying, you know what, I don't know everything. I don't know everything. I'm going to have to start listening to people that do. And then after I humbled myself and said, you know what, I don't know everything, I started seeking wise counsel. And I didn't question what they said because it made me uncomfortable or I didn't like how they said it. I took immediate imperfect action as long as what they told me was legal, ethical, and moral. Now, if it's illegal, unethical, or immoral, run far away from them. But as long as what they told me was legal, ethical, and moral, I took immediate imperfect action. I made mistakes, but I stayed consistent. And then I heard a gentleman say, hey, you could make 80 grand a year just selling coffee mugs and teddy bears on eBay. So I started researching how do you do a reselling business. I didn't know about Amazon at the time. Of course, hindsight being 2020, if I had to restart the day, I would go with Amazon, not eBay. And I love eBay, but it's just more money. And with time being my most valuable resource, I would go with whatever would make me the most money in the shortest amount of time. And that would be Amazon. So I started off reselling. All right, broke dude. How did I get the money? I sold things I didn't want to sell. That means cars. That means televisions. That means shoes. That means whatever I have of value. That means downgrading my lifestyle. I got rid of the T-Mobile or Verizon phone. I had to go to Boost Mobile. All right. Because I needed to, one, develop that abundance mindset, which that doesn't sound like an abundance mindset to the average person. It sounds like the opposite of abundance, right? But my abundance mindset to me is that anything that God blessed me with once, he has the ability to bless me with again an infinite number of times. Even those things that God has not yet blessed me with, he has the ability to bless me with an infinite number of times in the future. All I have to do is make sure I'm asking for something that's not illegal, unethical, or immoral and become the person that can handle it. If I'm willing to do those things, God will allow me to have it. That's my sincere prayer. That's my sincere desire. And I want you to adopt that way of thinking as well if you want to get to the next level. I've been your favorite country cousin, JT, and I'll see you guys in the next one.